Well, Sash and Jeff, this morning workers are on the assembly line instead of on the picket line, at least for now, after UAW and GM reached a tentative deal late last night just before the midnight deadline. Well, I just checked in with Toledo police. They tell me they're still actively searching for the driver of that silver F-150 pickup truck after it crashed into a police cruiser. However, the difficulty here is that they say the driver was not the owner of the pickup truck. Good morning, Kelly. Yeah, we're here in BG along Wooster Street, right off of 75. And the snow here, it's about up to my ankles. You can take a look. Oh, absolutely, Bill. We're seeing thousands of people stranded at airports because of this winter storm just affecting thousands of flights. So you'll want to be careful if you are heading out, because as I mentioned, not only is visibility going to be an issue, it's also going to be slick.
Breaking news here in Toledo.
Earlier this morning, Toledo's police chief sent out a tweet urging drivers to avoid Collingwood Boulevard near the I-75 underpass. 13
ABC's McKenzie Kuehnlein live on the scene.
Well, good morning to you both. Right now, Collingwood Boulevard is closed on the eastbound lanes because softball-sized chunks of concrete you see here are falling from the I-75 overpass onto Collingwood Boulevard. Now, it's just the eastbound lanes that they're concerned about right now. They do have the westbound lane open at this time. I checked in with ODOT crews moments ago, and they said that freezing rain seeped into the cracks on 75, froze, which caused these chunks of concrete to fall onto Collingwood Boulevard. Now, the Toledo Police Department drove through this area around 3:30 this morning when they noticed concrete on the roadways. That's when they contacted ODOT crews to shut down this area. We are being told that it will be closed for the next 3 hours or so, and Chief Kroll with the Toledo Police Department actually sent out a tweet just before 5:30 this morning, warning of concrete falling in this area and to avoid this part of Collingwood Boulevard. So again, right now crews are just waiting for the bridge department to get here and inspect where exactly this concrete is falling from and how they can make those repairs. But if this is a way for your morning commute, you can get around it by taking Sunrise right onto the Anthony Wayne Trail and circling right around this area where you can see traffic is being detoured off onto the other side of Collingwood to avoid I-75 overpass. So again, it will be closed, Collingwood Boulevard, for the next 3 hours as crews make repairs because of softball-sized concrete falling from I-75. Of course, we'll keep you updated throughout the morning. For now, reporting live, McKenzie Kuehnlein, 13 ABC Action News.
Kenzie, you said you had a chance to talk to ODOT crews. Have they said anything about the traffic topside, if they're concerned about 75?
Yeah, Jeff, I did ask them that as well, and they said as of right now there's no concerns with traffic using 75. They do have a crew up there monitoring that as well, but as of right now their main concern here is just these eastbound lanes of Collingwood Boulevard where this concrete is falling. So if you do take 75 above, you will be fine. Jeff Sasham, the Maumee Fire Chief, tells me that the ice-chunked water let loose last night, causing water to flood over River Road into Sidecut Metro Park where we're at right now. And if you take a look over here, this is actually the picnic table area, now completely washed over by water. And go ahead and take a look at some video we shot earlier this morning. You can see just how fast that water moves once this happens. Crews actually had to pull a car from the water after it got swept away around 6:30 this morning. The driver says he was on his way to work and didn't notice any barricades. And take a listen to what he says happened next.
On Jerome, in the dark, didn't see water, and then suddenly the car was in the water, floating with water inside the car, and so I just couldn't go open the door, so I turned down the windows and got out on the window. Then we got help within 5-10 minutes, and they got me out.
Now, Muhammad was not hurt, but police and fire crews say this is a good reminder that these barricades are up for a reason, because when this water rises, it rises quickly. Some areas up to 3 feet deep. Now, again, River Road is closed between Jerome and Ford Street. Could be that way for the next few days, even the next few weeks. Reporting live in Maumee, McKenzie Kuehnlein, 13 ABC Action News.
And now only on 13 ABC Action News.
What? Go ahead and take your seatbelt off for me. I didn't even do that. Go ahead and take your seatbelt off. Stop. Stop.
Well, what you just saw is the body cam video from a University of Cincinnati police officer who shot and killed an unarmed man this past July. And that was one of several police-related shootings to grab national attention this year. One even happened right here in Northwest Ohio when a Findlay police officer shot and killed a man in June during a traffic stop. So how do officers make that split-second decision to use lethal force? 13 ABC's McKenzie Kuehnlein took that question to local police in a story you'll only see on 13 ABC Action News.
Drop the weapon.
But I didn't do nothing.
Drop the weapon.
What would you do if you were a police officer in this life or death situation? Shoot or don't shoot? Toledo police put me in the shoes of an officer on the street, coming face to face with possible deadly threats in 4 different situations.
Look at your target.
First, I go through a brief training.
Bring it up to your eyes. Always bring the gun up to your eyes.
Armed with a gun that shoots paint bullets. That won't kill you, but will sting. Now it's on to the real thing. Playing the bad guy in the scenarios is Toledo police officer David Shahosky.
Sir, can I see your license and registration?
First up, a routine traffic stop, pulling over a driver with an expired license plate. The driver gets out and comes at me with what looks like a weapon.
What do you want to do? What do you want?
Shoot or don't shoot?
If I want out of that car immediately when you get out of yours, that's a good indication attack is coming.
Watch what happens next.
What do you want? This is my phone.
Turns out it was only a cell phone. Next up, a 911 call of a man who threatened his girlfriend with a knife.
Stop where you're at, sir. You need to stop where, drop the weapon.
But I didn't do nothing.
Drop the weapon.
I didn't do anything.
You need to drop, stop where you're at.
I have a knife.
Shoot or don't shoot?
You were warning him. He kept advancing. I think he got to an appropriate distance where I think it was a critical distance.
Here's how it played out.
Stop where you're at.
Would you be justified or not justified in that situation? I think that you would be justified.
Scenario 3, a man walking in the street with a gun.
I need you to put your hands up.
Okay. Why are you stopping me?
Because we got a call that you had a gun.
I do have a gun.
Shoot or don't shoot? Here is where police say making the right call gets tough.
It's perfectly legal to walk up and down these streets carrying a gun, and an officer is very limited in what they can do.
Within 10 seconds, I draw my gun, but in the end, decide not to pull the trigger.
Certainly stopping me, telling me to put my hands up, pointing a gun at me at that instance is probably, unfortunately, going to be deemed excessive.
Officers have me go through a similar situation again.
You're going to shoot me? I didn't do anything wrong. I'm in legal possession. I'm going to sue you is what I'm going to do. I'm going to sue you.
Stop where you're at. Put your hands up.
Shoot or don't shoot?
And that's a tough one, you know. I'm being aggressive. I'm argumentative. You know, I have a gun. I'm coming at you.
Here's how it ended up.
Put your hands up. Put your hands up.
Oh. The people pro open carry are going to say, see, this guy's just carrying a gun. She's stopping and hassling him, and then she kills the poor guy. He didn't even do nothing. He wasn't committing a crime.
In those stressful situations, officers have only seconds to make the decision to use lethal force.
But it happens so fast. You get that feeling, the hair rises on the back of your neck, and it just happens. You don't really have a whole lot of time to think.
Before Toledo police officers even make it on the force, they must go through a 3-week basic training where they fire between 12 to 1,500 rounds.
How many times we can expose that officer through training to similar scenarios? If it's the first time that officer's seen that situation, the fear level's going to be up, and when the fear level goes up, our ability to make good decisions starts to diminish.
Then, once on the force with TPD, officers must undergo 40 hours of training a year, so they're ready to make the decision, shoot or don't shoot. McKenzie Kuehnlein, 13 ABC, Action News.
Kenzie's report illustrating just how difficult that decision must be. But first, a murder mystery. The tragedy of Chelsea Bruck still unsolved and still grabbing headlines exactly 1 year later. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Action News at 6. I'm Lee Conklin.
And I'm Diane Larson. On this date 1 year ago, Chelsea Bruck went to a Halloween party, but she never made it home. Her body found last April in Monroe County.
13 ABC's McKenzie Kuehnlein talked with her parents about their daughter and the search for her killer.
This last year has been the most difficult year of our life.
On October 25th, 2014, Chelsea was headed to a Halloween party. It was on Post Road in Frenchtown Township and heavily advertised on social media.
She said, "My ride's here, I'm leaving, I love you."
That was the last time Leanda would talk to her daughter. Once there, witnesses say Chelsea's ride to the party left and left Chelsea behind.
So the person that took her, they decided not to stay. Whether Chelsea said she had a ride or they assumed she had a ride, they left.
Amidst all the partygoers, she disappears, never seen again.
Chelsea's disappearance grabbed national attention. Days turned into weeks. The family set up a search party headquarters at an old Monroe Bank and Trust building in Newport, and hundreds joined in the search for Chelsea.
All the time we were doing this, we never gave up hope that she was still alive.
Hope came in the form of missing person posters mailed across the country and ribbons that were purple, Chelsea's favorite color, going up all over her hometown of Maybe. 6 months after she was last seen, there was a break in the case. In April, someone found pieces of Chelsea's costume in an abandoned industrial site in Flat Rock. Weeks later, the next discovery was one that Chelsea's parents feared: human remains. They were found at a construction site just 10 miles from the Halloween party.
Evidence at the scene indicates that it was a homicide.
Her missing person posters have since been taken down. They're now replaced with new ones, searching for her killer.
People have to remember that Chelsea not only disappeared, she was murdered.
Right.
We don't know where this person is. We don't know if this person is still in our community. And whether this person is still in our community or someplace else, somebody else's community, they don't deserve to be free.
The Monroe County Sheriff's Office released this sketch of a man witnesses say was last seen with Chelsea. Investigators have yet to identify him.
It's #1 priority in our department right now.
Brian Soroka is the lead detective in the case. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office has interviewed nearly 200 people and received more than 900 tips.
Every day follow up on tips, every day do interviews, every day look at evidence.
But 1 year later, despite help from the FBI and 5 detectives dedicated to this investigation, the case remains unsolved.
First of all, the case, was a difficult one from the get-go, and you have 700 people at a party, most of them dressed up in costumes. We have that against us. Most people are under the influence of drugs or alcohol. We have that against us.
Who killed Chelsea Bruck? So far, there are no answers. And though her family has been devoured by grief while the search for Chelsea's killer goes on, they have found peace in their faith.
I always knew, no matter what, that I would see Chelsea again. I would certainly rather have had it be in this life, but I'll take the next.
McKenzie, Kuehnlein, 13 ABC, Action News.